Today's lesson is going to focus on adding and subtracting fraction word problems. So this first one we'll do together as an example, and then you'll have a chance to show that you know how to solve other ones. So the first thing you want to see is what are the pieces of information that I need from this problem. And so you're going to look at 1/3, 1/2, and 4/5. And then what the problem is actually asking you, which is what is the total weight? And total means adding. So I'm going to take those three fractions, 1/3 plus 1/2 plus 4/5, and I'm going to add them up. And when I do that, I get 49/30. So if you notice, I have a 3 denominator, a 2 denominator, and a 5 denominator. And I can't just add those all together. Remember what we learned? You have to have a common denominator or the same denominator. So the lowest common denominator, the LCD with these three numbers, is 30. So if you change them all into equivalent fractions with 30 denominators like 15/30ths, 10/30ths, and 24/30ths, you would add it all up and you would get 49/30ths. Then you change that into a mixed number, which is 1 and 13 or 19/30ths. Okay, so try the next one. Okay, this problem is Larry received 1/3 pound of candy from his grandmother, 2/5 pound of candy from his best friend, but then Larry's sister ate a 1/2 pound of candy. How many pounds of candy does Larry have? So first, read it, find out the information, and I'm noticing I have 1/3, 2/5, and a 1/2, but some of it is coming together and some of it is being subtracted because he got 1/3 pound and he got a 2/5 of a pound, but then his sister ate a 1/2 pound of candy, which is a ton of candy. I don't recommend you do that. So we need to add up, first of all, to see how much candy he had, and which is 11/15, and then how much candy his sister ate. We have to take that away from his candy, and we're left with 7/30ths of a pound. Okay, in making a fruit punch for the party, you mixed 1/2 gallon of grape juice with 1/5 of a gallon of orange juice. How many gallons of punch did you make? So this is finding the total amount of punch you made, 1/2 gallon plus 1/5 of a gallon, and we get 7/10ths of a gallon once we find a common denominator. Okay, 4/5. In going to the store, you walked 1/3 of a mile, but on the way back, you took a path through the park and walked 1/2 of a mile. How much farther did you walk on the way back? So I have to, first of all, change these into denominators that are common denominators. I like that they showed you this time. So 1/3 becomes 2/6 and 1/2 is 3/6. Then you're taking away. So I walked how much further? I'm finding the difference between how I walked at the end and how I walked at the beginning. So I'm going to take away 3/6, which is a 1/2 mile minus 1/3, and I get 1/6 of a mile farther. Okay, last one. A dump truck brought 1/3 of a ton of rock on the first trip. This is very similar to our first problem. 1/2 a ton of rock on the second trip, but on the third trip had to take back 4/5 of a ton. What was the total weight of the rock left at the construction site? So first we have to figure out how much it brought altogether. So first we have to add these two fractions together. And when I add those together, I get a common denominator of 6, and that equals 5/6. I can do butterfly method if you want to, or just find 3 times 2 is 6, and then change these into equivalent fractions with 6's. Then he had to take back 4/5. So I'm taking 5/6, my answer, and I'm taking away 4/5. So when I do butterfly method, or when I find a common denominator between 6 and 5, I get 1/30th of a ton of rock.